Hey guys, how is everybody doing? And today we're going to be talking about the first sequel to the original 1994 classic The Crow, with the sequel, The Crow City of Angels. So, just to clarify before I even dive into my thoughts with this movie, I have never seen any of the sequels before. I've never seen a Crow sequel in my life. You could check that out at the end of my video of the original film, and I've never had the heart or the desire to ever check out any of the sequels because for someone who loves that first movie so dear to my heart and is probably one of the most important movies in my life, which might sound corny to say, but it's probably true. It might be true, but I'm not too sure anymore. But ever since I found out there were sequels, I have never had the heart to go to them. I always thought, then why ever make a sequel to them? What is there more to tell? That after the horrible tragedy, God, I can't speak, with Brandon Lee, where are you going to be able to go? What else is there to tell? So I finally manned up. I put this movie in, and I shouldn't have expected anything. I honestly should not have expected to have a good time or like the movie. The only glimpse of hope that I had with this movie, and it was during the opening credits when I saw that David S. Goyer actually wrote this movie, who I mostly know from the Blade trilogy, one of my favorite comic book trilogies of all time. And I believe he's wrote, like maybe the first Avengers movie. I could be mistaken, but he's written a handful of comic book movies, so that gave me somewhat of hope. And this is what happens when I have hope. Well, with that all out of the way, let's just get into my thoughts about this movie. And, guys, I seriously struggled finding something positive to say about this movie. Even when a movie is terrible, even if I don't like the movie, I still try to find something in the movie that I liked. Maybe there is something in the movie that I could halfway enjoy. And I seriously struggled to where I only have one positive with this movie, and that is I do like the concept and the idea of finding and focusing on different people to become the Crow. And what is a movie that I'm really glad that they did here is that they departed their way from Eric. They did not want to touch that story, and I'm very glad because back when the sequel was announced, everybody said, "Do not go near Eric. Do not." Try to continue that story, just find someone new. Don't even try to do that. And thankfully, they did that. And apparently, this is not the original cut of the movie. Apparently, there is a somewhat Zack Snyder's Justice League director's cut situation with this movie because apparently this was a whole different movie. They shot the movie, but then that horrible person that is Harvey Weinstein came in, hacked this movie to bits, basically ordered and demanded reshoots, reshot the entire movie, and tried to release a carbon copy of the original movie, which I didn't really think it was a carbon copy, but I do see the similarities there. It's one of the worst things Harvey Weinstein ever did. Thanks. But the idea of just moving on to different crows, it's interesting. I do like that idea that instead of trying to ruin Brandon Lee's legacy and trying not to ruin the legacy of the original movie, so they just try to move on to different people. And I like that idea. There's a great opening there. There's a great idea written in there, but just what I hear from the other sequels, they don't really capitalize it much. Didn't capitalize it on this one either. But overall, it's interesting. It could have worked, but the characters they chose just didn't work. But moving straight on to the mixed aspects, I told you I really struggled. And moving on my mixed aspects, and the one mixed aspect that I have about this movie is the new Crow Ashe, to where his character I just flat out don't like, but I do have some sort of feeling in me that I just feel terrible for him, which these movies try to do, and this movie does succeed for me to where these villains, these gangsters, whatever you want to call them, I call them the weird voodoo girls because girls, these girl characters because every villain in this movie, which I'll get to, they all look like the from the music videos that I Want to Rock. Because the music, not I Wanna Rock. Was that Queen? I don't know. I don't know music anymore. But we're not gonna take it. The music video to that? That's what all the villains look like in this movie. But all the villains, the Ash's son. saw these characters kill this one person, and basically they didn't have they basically didn't have a choice, and they kidnapped Ash and his son, and they shot them both, and throw them both in the river. And I thought they did a good job of making me feel bad for the Ash character, because the scene where it shows us what happens to him and his son when they die, and it's a pretty emotional sequence, which I think every father or any kind of father figure can relate to in that scene, to where they'd be freaking out and basically begging to just let the boy go, and telling the boy that it's not his fault whatsoever, which I guarantee you every father in that situation would be doing the same thing that he's doing. And it does make me feel bad for him, but his character I just don't know how to feel about him, honestly. He's not bad. And this might just be rude to say, but his accent, the actor's accent, sometimes I couldn't even make out what he was saying. What did you say? I don't know what kind of accent it was. It kind of sounded British, kind of sounded British, kind of sounded like a different um accent. I don't really know what his accent was, but sometimes when he was saying things, I could not make out what he was saying. Like, he was saying one crow, two crow, and there's other parts of that, and then he said it like three different times, like one crow, three crow, four crow, five crow. Everything after he said that, I did not make out what he was saying. I seriously couldn't understand him, which kind of seems rude to say, but it's just the honest truth from me. But Ash as the new Crow, character-wise, I don't really care for him much, but feeling bad for him, I do care there. But now moving on to my negatives. Now, I want to make this very clear. I do not hate this movie. I do not hate this movie. I do not despise it, which I kind of walked in thinking I would, but at the end of the movie, I didn't hate it. I just really don't like this movie. And my first negative with this movie is that something that I actually hate that they did in this movie is bringing back the character of Sarah. Now, sorry. Now, Sarah is the little girl and kind of the companion for Eric in the first movie, and having her return, I absolutely hated that they did that. To where this movie is supposed to kind of departure from that first movie, kind of departure from Eric and that whole storyline, to leave that story alone. And that's what they did, which I don't know if this was in the original cut, but bringing back Sarah, I hated that. I seriously hated that they did that. She really does not have a purpose to be in here. They kind of tease like, oh god, there's something in my IGs. Um, they kind of tease that Ash and her are going to be a couple at the end, or kind of end up becoming a couple at the end of the movie. But that basically goes nowhere. They seriously do not capitalize on it. They do not do jack shit with it in this movie. And what does she do? Well, she's basically put in the same situation she was at the end of the first movie, to where the villains find out that she's connected to the crow, that she's connected to the person that's doing this to all of them, and they kidnap her, put her in this cage to lure the crow and Ash to her. They end up killing the crow for some reason. Apparently, killing the crow gave the main villain of this movie the crow powers somehow, and then they end up killing Sarah at the end of the movie. So you're telling me you just brought back Sarah, tease a love story going on that goes absolutely nowhere, and just to have her die at the end of the movie? I've always said that a remake can never hurt the original movie, but some sequels can. And knowing the fate of Sarah now, to where what happens to her after the first movie, kind of ruins that for me now. Because I actually do enjoy the Sarah character. I just do think that the character's actress wasn't very good. And, just knowing the fate now of Sarah after the end of the first movie, this sequel kind of ruined that for me. And I was really hoping that these sequels would not do that. I was really hoping that would not happen for me, but unfortunately, it came to fruition. These villains are very bad. These villains suck because they're so weird. They are very weird. They all look like they're from the music video. I want to rock and we're not gonna take it. Is it I want to rock? Yeah, I want to rock and we're not gonna take it. They look like those guys from the music videos. They look so stupid. And you get Thomas Jane as one of the villains when he's barely in it, because when I saw his name, I was like, ooh, the Punisher's in this movie, but he's just jacking off in a booth and then he dies, which
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Okay. And then these villains are so weird because you get this like one girl that's blind and tells the truth always, and I believe she can see the future. And the main villain, these villains and mostly the main villain, they have some weird voodoo shit going on to where they end up having like human sacrifices. They have these nude girls pouring hot wax onto other nude girls, and you have like these silicone like things around them to where they're like moving around trying to get out. It's like, what is happening? And just going along with that, what the original movie had that I thought was really poetic and really a cool idea is that they killed the villains from their own addictions in a way and how they used to kill people. None of that is here. They just flat out just kill him. They just flat out just kill him. They either just get just shot or they get killed off screen. And that's very unfortunate because I was really hoping that would continue throughout the entire series. But these villains, they're very bad. Weird voodoo shit going on, and Thomas Jane jerking off in a booth. I don't know what else you want me to just what else you want me to say. That's it. Acting in this movie is very abysmal because there are some moments in this movie that is so bad, especially from Ash's actor who very gives off weird dialogue, and I don't know if that's just the way it was written or the way he said it. I don't know if it was the dialogue or the way he said it. I didn't know how to feel it because there was one point to where they were doing fight choreography, which was just flat out terrible. I'm just gonna say it, maybe because of recent times it's just gotten better, but when you also look at the first movie, it's way better than that one. But in this movie, the fight choreography is terrible, and there's a fight with this like Chinese girl or whatever, and you get Ash fighting, and this girl has like a little stick. She goes, "Do you know how to fight?" And then Ash goes, "Do you know how to die?"
Do you know how to fight?
Do you know how to die?
It's like, what? It's so stupid. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's so bad. But just some of the performances, and even when he just takes out a handful of cards, it's like, he's a card.
You serious?
I don't know why I'm laughing. It's so stupid. But the acting is just so bad to where I don't know if it was the dialogue that was bad or if it was just the way the actors performed it. It was just, ugh. All in all, guys, I didn't hate this movie. I did not despise it. I didn't have a horrible time watching it. I was not miserable watching the movie. I just did not like this movie whatsoever. I do not like The Crow, The City of Angels, to where this movie just proves to me that maybe I have a hard feeling that the rest of the series is going to keep getting worse. And this is a very rough start to a sequel, and I'm just really hoping that it might get better from here. I hear Salvation is the one that's tolerable, apparently, but I don't know. I really did not like this movie. I do not recommend it to any Crow fans. Just if you're thinking about watching this movie, don't even bother with it. Just rewind the first movie and just watch that one again because this movie just there's no reason to really watch it. So what do you guys think about The Crow City of Angels? Have you seen it? What do you think about it? Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Do you actually think this is a solid sequel to the first movie? Let me know in the comments below and we shall talk about it. If you like this video, like it. If you love it, subscribe with the bell notification so you will get notified for the rest of my Crow series reviews. And of course, until my next video, see you all next time.